Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 25 most busted characters to ever plague the fighting game scene. Balance be damned, am I right?
The fool in the red cape had been dealt with. Now Scorpion would learn how he came to this place.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Sagat, Street Fighter. Is this the first ever instance of a broken fighting game character? Well, unless Urban Champion is hiding some other nonsense that we don't know about, it may very well be. Those who suffered through the first Street Fighter game found a title that was constantly tipping the scales against you in ludicrous ways, and Sagat was the most excessive. He's faster, he's stronger, and he suffers practically no damage from blocking. There are even times where it straight up looks like he completely ignores your attacks and immediately retaliates with no consequences. Basically, Sagat is the reason why no one ever talks about the first Street Fighter, and why no one is ever itching to play it again. Eddy Gordo, Tekken 3. Ever since his debut in Tekken 3, Eddy Gordo has been among the most contentious characters in the entire franchise's history. Most folks are welcome to his appearances and fighting against those who main him. Others rage quit and they will cry on the internet about how he should be banned. The reason? It's because he is incredibly hard to read and anticipate which attacks he's going to do. Thing is, that is kind of the point, because he uses capoeira. It's a martial art. It's a form of dance fighting that's meant to keep your opponent guessing and force them to be as defensive as possible because you're moving around so much. Though we can understand the frustration in Tekken 3 because Eddy players could very easily win just by mashing a couple of combos. His moveset is very lenient and very forgiving to noobs. Scorpion, Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Finish him! Your soul will burn!
As many Injustice veterans will tell you, Scorpion pretty much killed the online scene for this first installment. Whereas most of the game's heroes and villains specialized in brute force, zoning, countering, or what have you, Scorpion brought in so much BS from the Mortal Kombat games that it made him the Swiss Army knife of Injustice. He had ranged attacks, teleport attacks, command grabs. He was basically an all-around fighter that could take on any and every character in the game and still perform spectacularly. In other words, he was your typical final DLC character who suddenly breaks the entire game and becomes the meta. Itachi Uchiha, various Naruto games. Whether any of the Naruto fighting games are balanced is kind of in the eye of the beholder, but Itachi is the one character who seems to constantly be the most powerful across several titles. Choose any Naruto game you want. If Itachi is in it, just play him for a few minutes and he wipes the floor with any other fighter in that game. Be it Storm Connections, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, literally any Naruto fighting game out there. In a way, he's at least lore accurate, so it makes sense why he'd be broken, but Itachi alone is likely the reason why you don't see a lot of anime fighting games sprouting in the competitive scene. Cinder, Killer Instinct. For as crazy and frenetic as Killer Instinct can get, some may find it impossible to find a fighter in the game that could be considered overpowered. On the contrary, Cinder was absurdly busted in the original Killer Instinct, specifically the arcade version. Players were finding and exploiting a certain infinite combo so much that it turned the game into an absolute joke at arcades. All Cinder had to do was catch his opponent against a wall, launch them, and then keep juggling them with his aerial backflip kick. It got so bad that Nintendo actually got involved and began sending technicians out to arcades just so that they could install patches that nerfed Cinder's ability to do this. In 1994, there were roughly 17,000 Killer Instinct cabinets across the globe. And yes, you can do this in the 1.4 version of Killer Instinct Classic, but the 1.5D version will not allow you to do so. Cooko no Blaze Blue series. Much like Eddy Gordo, Cooko no has been a topic of very heated discussion. As many Blaze Blue players may tell you, the games are relatively balanced for the most part, but Cooko no is where some players question that notion. The cat girl just gets so much control over the stage between her decent melee attacks, wealth of ranged attacks, and her ability to set up her graviton to bait opponents into compromising situations. Admittedly, she has been nerfed and tweaked since the days of Chrono Phantasma, but regardless, some still hold hostility against her.
Within expectations, not your fault.
General Scar, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. This Power Stone clone based on the Cartoon Network show already has some pretty strong characters. Grim, Mandy, Irwin, Fredburger. Okay, well maybe not that last one, but General Scar boasts just enough power to be considered the most broken character in the entire game. Scar wields a much higher attack speed than the rest of the roster and deals way more damage simultaneously. Even just a basic string of light attacks can take off a massive chunk of your health. Your only means of counterplay is really to just exploit as many items and weapons as possible and grab Mojo Balls the second you see them. He can't do anything against an insta-kill. Guile, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior. We owe a lot to Street Fighter II for birthing what would become the competitive fighting game scene. However, age has done the game rather dirty, mainly because of Guile. Unless you're playing a mirror match, Guile manages to give every character a run for their money because of his obscene reach and quick ability to counter whiffs. And if you found Hadouken spamming Rios annoying to play against, wait until you get a load of Sonic Boom spamming Guiles. They are 10 times worse. Phoenix, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
You're about to deal with forces you can't possibly comprehend.
Regardless of which version of MVC3 you're playing, Phoenix is the fighter everyone will judge you for using, and for good reason. At first, she seems weak as she takes more damage than most characters, but that weakness is instantly remedied by the fact that she has a second chance mechanic where she resurrects herself as Dark Phoenix. In this form, she gets a massive boost in speed and damage, and that power can be further boosted by X Factor. Oh, and did we mention her normals now shoot out projectiles? Even with her health slowly being drained, it is next to impossible to beat her. Ned Flanders, The Simpsons Wrestling.
I'm gonna kill Diddly Ilya. Heavenly powers compelled in the LU. The gravy maker and the mighty ho!
Look, don't expect too many awful fighting games to crop up here, but it's really hard to ignore the notoriety of The Simpsons Wrestling. This game has so many issues with its movement and game balance, yet if you're somebody who is a glutton for punishment and wants to beat this game, Ned Flanders is going to save you the headache or shatter whatever friends you may have. For starters, Flanders can spam plenty of moves and call down God to smite you without warning. Not only that, but he can restore all of his health upon death. Y'all thought Phoenix was bad? Not when Flanders exists. Bayonetta, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. Oh, we'll get to him later on. Trust me, we will. But man, the animosity towards Bayonetta was something else. At first, the haters were mainly gunning for Bayonetta for supposedly stealing the Smash ballot from supposedly more worthy contenders. You know, it was basically another case of, wah, my character didn't make it and the new one sucks, wah. But once she was making the rounds in tournaments, all hell broke loose. The Umbra Witch made mincemeat out of every fighter in Smash 4 thanks to her aerial mobility and how she could string attacks together effortlessly. The grand finals of EVO 2018 was the final straw for folks, and since then, almost nobody looks back at Smash 4 fondly anymore. Guile, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Now!
We're trying to refrain from putting too many bosses on this list, but to leave off Guile would be a crime against humanity. Even though there are plenty of strong characters making up Street Fighter 3's roster, the game gets unbearable in Second Impact and Third Strike, all because of Guile. The angry blonde half-smurf is just way too oppressive with his speed and damage output, not to mention the one super he has that allows him to recover a crap ton of health. We know fighting game bosses are supposed to be the ultimate test in strength, but Guile just goes way overboard. Although, it's not as egregious as our next entry.
You win before you're alright, that's cool.
God Rugal, Capcom vs SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium. In the world of tag fighters, no boss has been as infuriating as God Rugal. No matter what team you've assembled, no matter which moves you spam, God Rugal is simply a tyrant, fueled by pure rage and adrenaline. He will punish you instantly on even the smallest block or whiff. He will utilize moves that are borderline unstoppable and sometimes unblockable. He will practically ignore all fundamentals that CVS2 has instilled in you. You want to talk about input reading butt munch bosses? God Rugal is the living embodiment of that trope.
Lab Coat Android 21, Dragon Ball Fighters.
You will suffer!
On the surface, Lab Coat Android 21 looks like she should just be a simple costume swap, right? Well, far from it. This iteration of Fighter's antagonist plays much more differently from her true form, and she's an absolute menace. Her neutrals and mix-ups can put the rest of the roster in the danger zone relatively easily. She even has a super that functions as a command grab and can inflict a major debuff on opponents that is stackable with other debuffing moves. Who would have thought a simple change of clothes would make fighters so one-sided?
Kratos, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. To their credit, players have found ways to make Raiden, Sackboy, and Parappa worthy brawlers in Sony's platform fighter. But even after all of the patches, all of the balance adjustments, all of the minor tweaks, Kratos is still the most busted fighter in PlayStation All-Stars. The Ghost of Sparta just leans way too heavily into his own game's combat mechanics, as he can attack fast, rack up a ton of damage with just a few inputs, and build a full meter within seconds. His level 3 super can even rack up 7 or 8 KOs if you manage to wipe out rivals at a perfect pace. Really, not even Zeus can match Kratos' potential, and he was one of the last 2 DLC characters. Karai, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. There's really no strategy to beat Karai in Tournament Fighters. What you have here is a character that excels in every possible facet of combat, while everyone else is good in one thing and horrible in another. Karai moves fast, she hits hard, and she can even grab you from an obscene distance, at least compared to other regular throws. Suppose you do manage to block her attacks, you will still have no time to effectively counter. She is that busted. And no, spamming Jason's grenades is not a super reliable way to cheese her. It's possible, but we wouldn't recommend it. There are better methods.
Perfect!
Sailor Uranus, Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon S. We'd be all in on a Sailor Moon fighting game if only this one wasn't so unbalanced. To be fair, most of Sailor Moon S's roster is fine, but that's only if you're ignoring Sailor Uranus. Uranus will have Uranus regardless of who you're playing as. The big reason for this is that her dash ability can be cancelled into other moves, whereas the rest of the roster has nothing close to that level of utility. Just Uranus's pile driver can put you at death's door because of how much damage it deals. These two abilities alone have led to many tournament organizations just banning her from play. Akuma, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Are you really surprised at all to see Akuma pop up on here? It took a hot minute, but here he is, and we all know why he deserves to be on here. Take it from an autistic person, it takes a high level of autism to keep up with this game in general. To be on par with Akuma though, you have to transcend autism and become a demigod or something. His speed is that ridiculous. So far to the point that the average player is unlikely to properly register and react to what he's doing. Essentially, you're just gonna have to spend a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time, adjusting to the game's speed on top of reading and anticipating his next move. It's that fast. Yoda, Soul Calibur 4.
Run you may. Judge you, I will not.
We're not quite sure why we were still incorporating small characters in fighting games in 2008. Seriously, did we learn nothing from Gon and Tekken 3 10 years prior? Regardless, Bandai Namco Entertainment decided that yes, we absolutely need somebody like Yoda to join Darth Vader in Soul Calibur 4. No, it doesn't matter if most characters can't hit him regularly like they can against the rest of the cast. What are you talking about? No, it doesn't matter if we make Yoda obscenely faster than the rest of the roster. No! You're crazy. It doesn't matter if we allow him for online play and potentially kill the player base. It's Yoda! And Yoda's cool! Wait, why is nobody playing online anymore? Where'd everybody go?
You win! Clear your mind of question.
Cabal, Mortal Kombat. Speaking of characters with absurd speed, Cabal has traumatized many MK9 players, more than Cyrax ever did, and we all know the BS that Cyrax was capable of. Cabal, on the other hand, was spam incarnate. For the longest time, Cabal players could launch you, dash, and stun you mid-air, launch you back up, dash, and stun you mid-air, rinse and repeat until flawless victory. This was Mortal Kombat's worst nightmare since Noob Saibot became a playable character and a series regular. Enter a game after choosing Cabal, and 9 times out of 10 you were going to be met with player disconnected. Storm, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes. Sentinel, Cable, and Magneto are vicious in their own ways, but of the 4 horsemen of MVC2, Storm is the leader of the group. There is simply no downside to playing as her. You can intentionally whiff attacks just to build up meter, and you can build up a lot of meter. And once you do have a level 1 meter, you gain access to Hailstorm, which is the best hyper combo in the game thanks to it being screen wide and giving almost no time to block. And do we even need to mention how easy it is to spam Typhoon? That's all you're gonna hear throughout the entire match is, ha, 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 Typhoon, Typhoon, and then Hailstorm, bam, you're dead. That's how it goes. Pet Shop, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Heritage for the Future. There is no escape from the ridiculously named Pet Shop. This guy is so oppressive that both casual and hardcore fans of this game will judge you harshly for picking him. The reason for this is because Pet Shop excels in so many ways that the rest of the roster cannot match him. He's got the fast mobility, he's got the absurd damage output, he's got the mix-ups, he's got the weird movements, he's got the zoning potential. He literally has everything you could want in a fighter. And God help you if he starts spamming those damn unblockable icicles.
Perfect.
Paris Lisia, Arcana Heart 3. Have you ever wanted to see a fighting game suddenly get turned into a bullet hell game? Well, that's the story when it comes to Paris Lisia. This woman does not know the meaning of the word chill, as she will begin assaulting you with projectiles the second the announcer says fight. Get too close? Oh, command grab without warning, bam, you're dead. Get too far? Well, prepare for total obliteration from every direction because you're gonna have about 20 projectiles heading your way. Bam, you're dead. Oh, and she regenerates health. Bam, you're dead. Yeah, even watching somebody fight her is gonna give you secondhand rage. Metanite. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. For the longest time, Metanite has served as the poster child of broken fighting game characters. Understandable, because his inclusion in Brawl was tumultuous the second the game was out. Metanite can easily inflict a ton of damage with just a few swings of Galaxia. And even if you launch him pretty far, he can quickly recover using Drill Rush, Shuttle Loop, or even Dimensional Cape. He has no downsides, and he made matches so one-sided that any tournaments still running with Brawl have made a conscious effort to ban him from play. And somehow, he is not the most broken character we've seen in a fighting game. That title, funny enough, actually belongs to Ivan Ooze, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Fighting Edition. When looking at the history of fighting games and the competitive fighting game scene, no other character has come close to the level of infamy that Ivan Ooze has had for so long. Normally, boss characters like Ivan Ooze get nerfed when unlocked as a playable character, and they're usually nerfed by making certain moves inaccessible or severely lowering stats in health, damage, and speed. Well, that isn't the case here. Ivan Ooze retains just about every trait he has as a final boss, even that BS invulnerable strike move which he can use even while he's affected by hit stun. And yes, he can fly for a ludicrously long time, forcing rivals to resort to aerial attacks. To call Ivan Ooze unfair is putting this entire predicament under an extremely infantile lens. You have to see it for yourself, folks. It's ridiculous. But tell us, who do you think is the most busted fighting game character ever made? Did they make our list? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos every day.